Hey guys, Gary J here again. Today I'm showing you one of my favorite all-time rifles, and that is the Model 98 Sporterized Mauser. The Model 98 Sporterized Mauser. This is a very beautiful rifle to me, and very unique, and has several things that have been done to it. Now I mentioned the word Sporterized, and there's a lot of things you can add to a Mauser rifle. And it's kind of like the 1911 Colt 45. There are 100 things you can do to those things. They make all kinds of accessories for the 1911 Colt. And the Sporterized Mauser is the same way. They make all kinds of stuff for that. And so this is a very unique one here to me. I've never seen another one like it in person. And we're going to look at what makes this one so unique. This is also a Model 98 Mauser with a 308 caliber barrel, 308 Winchester barrel. So that's another great thing about it. Out of all the cartridges you can imagine, 308 is one of the number one cartridges of all time. Some people have used those in the past for like snipers. Have used 308s because of their accuracy and all for target shooting. They have great accuracy, great deer rifle cartridge too. You can load it down. If you hand load, you can load it down to shoot like a 30-30. You can upload it to shoot like a 30-06. It becomes a very versatile cartridge. So this is one of my favorite calibers too, the 308. So we'll look at the stock of this particular rifle and see why that's kind of unique. And we'll look at the barrel and then at the receiver. Okay, first of all, let's look at the stock. And we'll look at the rear of the stock here. And one of the things you notice about this wood right here, it's a beautiful walnut wood, and the top of the stock is flat. It does not have the comb that you would normally see on some stocks with a cheek piece, like the Golden Eagle. But it does have this beautiful cheek piece right here. And it has really beautiful checkering right here. That checkering is hand done. So that's really pretty. And that pretty wood kind of goes all the way through here. We have some really nice checkering here on the stock and pretty wood color. And you notice the stock keeps going and going and going till we get to the end here. And the stock ends at the end of the barrel. So that's how that looks. So the stock is called a Manlicher stock. And that's because it goes all the way to the end of the barrel. And I really like Manlicher stocks. There's something cool about them. And so we just see a beautiful walnut wood here in this stock. And a nice cheek piece. And look how this is cut and designed here on the grip. That's very nice too. We'll look at this stock from the other side. And we'll start back at the butt end of the stock right here. Now I hate to say this, but I actually had about an inch of this stock cut off because it was just too long for me. And I knew that when I bought this rifle many years ago that I would never ever sell it. I'd always keep it. So you really want a stock to be a custom fit for you, especially wearing like thick clothes in the wintertime, stuff like that. It doesn't help with your shooting. And this is a special gun right here, extremely accurate rifle. And we see the checkering here that comes up. This is a nice design right here. And we still have some pretty wood in this stock right here. And I like this checkering design here. Reminds me of something like Shazam. I don't know why, but and this is pretty right here. And again, it goes all the way to the end. And at the end right here is a piece of plastic that is kind of a shrink wrap that you can put on there. I need to replace that on this side, looks like, or clean that up. So this is basically what our stock looks like. And the checkering on it is really incredible. So that's the stop. Okay, let's take a look at the barrel. Now we see the barrel coming out of the receiver, and notice how it begins to taper really quick. And I love this rear sight on here. It's got a ramp rear sight. This is really nice. And the way the sights are on this one, it's very easy to just throw it up and automatically be on target. And I really love the front sight on this one too. Look at that, the long slanted sight right here, this ramp type sight. Love that. And the scroll work, that's something extra that was done to this sight right here, the scroll work on top of it. And then we see at the very top right here, well made, well designed, beautiful sight right here. You might notice that the bluing on this right here is very nice, because this is, I had it re-blued. I had the whole gun re-blued at one time, so it needed it. And so I was really pleased with that. So it's got a beautiful bluing on it. And this is a brand new 308 barrel, brand new 308 barrel. That barrel on the inside looks as pretty as this jeweled bolt right here. I mean, it's like glass on the inside. So that's another thing you can do with a Mauser. You can take the Model 98 action here, a receiver, and take the barrel off of it and put another barrel on it, a brand new barrel, if you've got one of the older ones. Now, when you get into some of that sporterizing, you may want to Accurize your rifle. And Accurizing your rifle takes a really good gunsmith to make your rifle really tight and to really shoot truly accurate. And they have to do a lot of work with the receiver and the bolt to do all of that. So that's another thing you do in order to make them truly accurate. This is a truly accurate rifle right here. And again, looking at the receiver now, we looked at the barrel. On the receiver right here, you see this is a lug, right? We call that a lug that's round and it's pronounced. It goes all the way around on the Model 98. And what you have to do, if you're going to put a scope on a rifle like this, you're going to have to shave off the top of that lug so that it's going to be level all the way across. And you're going to have to do the same thing on this side over here too. To shave off the top of that lug, make it flat and precision. So that was done as well on this receiver. And then these Model 98s, the bolts in them are very plain looking. They look like aluminum, nothing, no thrills, kind of like this, well, they're not fancy as this Damascus steel knife right here. But except Damascus steel, they're just gray looking. There's nothing, no thrills about the Mauser 98 bolts. But you can have them with this beautiful diamond cut put on them to give them that really fine look. So that was done to this bolt right here. And on the Mausers, the handle here on your bolt, if you can see right here, it's supposed to be straight out. This bolt's supposed to be like this right here. But if you open this bolt, it's going to hit the scope. So the bolt would be 12 o'clock position. It hit the scope, so you couldn't put a scope on here. But the workmanship on this one, the scope, the bolt here has been either cut and welded and shaved down right here and kind of sculptured a little bit so that the bolt here only goes up a certain degree. And I'll show you that. Okay, I raised that bolt up, and looking right here, it should be going straight up into the scope, but see, it's been cut, welded, bent, shaped, modified, all of this right here, and we got a round ball right here, and then they took and cut the end of this ball off flat. And then when they did that, they did some beautiful metal work on that, checkering. This is kind of a metal checkering you see here. Maybe a little hard to see that, but right there. So that way you can grab this boat very easily when you flip it up. So now the boat's only moving about 30 degrees or 40 degrees from this position here. That's as far as it goes up, and see, it clears the scope by a mile. Okay, and you just pull the boat back down. So it's real easy to use this gun. Okay, looking at this boat here now, all we have to do is just pull this boat down, and that's the position that it'll be in. So it's moving on about, what, 40 degrees, something like that. And that is really, really nice. Now, another thing you can do, it can be a little bit expensive, of course, to do all this work here. My gunsmith told me that he's a master gunsmith. Told me it looked like all the work on this one was done in Germany, which is really nice. So I didn't have anything done to this boat or the receiver. That was all done, I guess, in Germany or wherever they did that at. But I told him, I said, I don't like the safety on it. The safety on these, they flip all the way around, half moon. They're 180 degrees. They go all the way here on the other side, and you got to flip them all the way up to 12 o'clock and then all the way back down for the safety. So I don't like that safety like that. And I want a 30-degree safety. And he said, that's great, we'll put a 30-degree safety. And that's what you see here is a 30-degree safety. And what does that mean? That means that the safety is off right now. I pull it up 30 degrees. And then see, it doesn't hit the scope, or it's not even close to the scope on that. And that's another great thing about these Mausers. You can do all this stuff to them. And this way, if I see a deer, I don't have to flip 180 degrees. I've scared deer away doing that. This way, I just have to push this down very carefully, and it only goes to like 30 degrees. So that's a great thing here about the safety on this Mauser. So another great thing I really like about adding this safety to it. Adding this safety to it, and I love the boat system here, and I love the kind of this diamond pattern that you see right here, what we call a jewel boat, and the new barrel. You know, I love the sights on it, and it being reblued, and those are great things right there. And I'll show you the other side of this. Now, you may be able to see in the light here some of this reading. I'll be able to read some of this. 91, 98. And my gunsmith told me, he said, well, on the barrel, he said, why don't you put 308 Winchester on? Have that put on. I said, well, that'd be great. So he put that on there, the 308 Winchester. I guess he stamped that out or whatnot, but that looks good on it to me. And this piece right here, you pull this out to take the bolt out. This side here, pull this side here, and you can take your bolt completely out. And of course, this looks like our boat. And the firing pin is all the way out. The gun is empty. I've already checked that in case you're wondering. So that's kind of what this other side looks like right here. And a pretty cheek piece on that stock. And you're probably looking right here and you say, well, what in the world is that? It looks like 2 triggers. Well, it is. It's 2 triggers. This is called set triggers. And it's very rare to see these on rifles. See, I should say like Mausers or regular rifles. Now, I have black powder guns that have set triggers like this, or similar to this, but they have 2 triggers. And so it's kind of a unique thing, and I'll show you what that does. Okay, I'm changing position here to show you this set trigger and how this works. If you were shooting at something 300, 500, 600 yards away, you don't want to pull yourself off on the shot. Most triggers are like 5-6 pounds on rifles and even pistols. So in this case, what you're going to be doing is that if you wanted to shoot with a regular trigger pull, like 5 pound or 6 pound trigger pull, then what you would do is pull your trigger right here. And it takes about 5-6 pounds to pull the trigger here. But if you decide, well, I'm going to be shooting at 400 or 500 yards and I got a small target and I don't want to pull myself off on shooting the target, then what you would do is pull this trigger here first. There's a little click there. And this one sets up the front trigger. And I've got the front trigger at too low a poundage. You can set this, little set screw here. You can set this poundage here like 2 pounds or less. This one's probably set at about 8 ounces. All you have to do on this one is to put your finger on the trigger. When you're ready to shoot, don't touch the trigger actually. When you're ready to shoot now, then you just put your finger on the trigger here. Once you got it lined up, you just barely touch this trigger. Boom. I mean, that's probably 4 ounces. So this first trigger is set up and it'll shoot 8 ounces or maybe 5 ounces. You don't want to jar the gun, but you don't want it that sensitive. So that's what these set triggers do. If you have it in the fire position, you pull this front trigger, don't touch this one, pull this one, and you'll have like 5 or 6 pound pull. If you pull this one back, then all you got to do is touch this one, and this one is set probably for 8 ounces, which is a big difference. I mean, if you took the gun up and vertically and hit the butt on something, it would go off. That's how sensitive this trigger is. But that would be like for long range shooting, target shooting, whatever. So you have to be really careful. But it gives you that versatility. Really, this is very unique on these rifles right here, to have one like that. I turned the gun upside down because I'm going to show you this floor plate. Another thing that you can do to these rifles, on the floor plate that has a hole through here, and what you have to do if you want to open this floor plate, you got to take your cartridge, a 308 in this case, and turn it upside down and push it down into this hole and release the floor plate. So what we do then is that that's not a big deal, but if you don't want to do that, then what we would do is take and have this pin put in here. You can see that pin perhaps, and you push this button down. Now it's just a button. Now push this button down and it releases your plate. To take the plate off, you simply pull it toward the trigger here and it comes right out. And you see you bolt down in here. So that's a pretty easy thing to do. And to put it back in, you take this in right here and push that down, kind of level it out. Push it down toward the end of the barrel, and then push this all the way down, and your bolt sticks back through here. So that is really nice. You release your boat and you come all the way back with your boat till it stops, and then you take this part right here, and you pull that out, okay, and that will release your bolt. I couldn't do that with one hand. So you release your bolt, and this is what it looks like here. Got the jewel cut on the bolt, very beautifully done. And you see the workmanship on this bolt right here. A lot of work went into that. And you see how it's on the other side, it's cut flat and graded that way, or kind of a checkering a little bit, so you can get a better grip of it. Just a beautiful bolt here, and the 30-degree safety right there. And one other thing real quick is this scope right here. This is not an expensive scope, but I do have a high mount on it, so I can look through the scope itself, and I can see the target through the scope. You see right here, I can see my front sights, my front and rear sight, and I can shoot either with my iron sights or I can shoot with the scope. And that is really versatile to me, because if something's real close to you, you may not want to use the scope. So these are just beautiful, beautiful rifles. Great guns, my friend, if you want to get into Mausers. Thanks for watching, guys. Gary J.